Welcome to the road to 1 million US dollars. Let's get right into the Bitcoin chart for today, starting on this 4-hour time frame for Bitcoin, because earlier today we broke above this previous high here and right away got into this next big level of resistance, sitting from 65,000 all the way up to 66,000 US dollars for the Bitcoin price. Now, currently on this 4-hour candle, we are already getting a bit of a rejection. I will get to that in just a second. But if we break above 66K, then likely we are heading up into this next big level of resistance, sitting from 68,000 all the way up to 70,000 US dollars for the Bitcoin price. However, if we now get a rejection back down, then very likely we will be touching this previous level of resistance to potentially flip it into a level of support, sitting at about 64.3K. And if we lose this 64.3K level, then likely we are coming down to this level of support below, sitting at about 62,000. And I will get into the exact specific levels here in just a second as well. First, let's take a look at the overall trend for Bitcoin. Obviously, this is to the upside at the moment. And as I said during this entire time, during the chop here, so long as we keep holding above 62K, then I will continue to be bullish and assume that at some point we are going to get another move higher, which we now have seen. And I'm very curious to see if we are now actually going to get that break above 66K, or if we first need to see a bit of a pullback. One thing that is noteworthy is that we are now somewhat close to overbought territory on the RSI. However, we haven't reached into overbought territory yet, and therefore it means that there is some more room to the upside. One thing we should take a look at though is this 1 day time frame, because it is important that we get a daily candle close above this previous high. I think this would kind of solidify that likely we are getting another move higher. One other thing I quickly want to address here is actually this exaggerated bearish divergence that I talked about in yesterday's video, because I actually made a mistake here. Obviously, we had horizontal highs in the Bitcoin price. However, we had a higher high in the Bitcoin RSI on the 1 day time frame. And obviously, an exaggerated bearish divergence means that you have horizontal highs in the price and lower highs in the RSI momentum indicator. So I do want to apologize for that. I made a mistake there, and this has only happened one time before in the past 200 videos that I created. I had a very long and a very bad day yesterday. So again, my apologies, and let's move on with the Bitcoin analysis now. If we take a look at the 1 week time frame for the Bitcoin RSI, this is still breaking out from this downtrend that Bitcoin has recently been in. And as I have been saying for over a month at this point, so long as this keeps breaking out and we do not invalidate it doing something like this, then I think the RSI is going to reach higher levels at some point, potentially even reaching into overbought territory on the 1 week time frame once again. However, I'm not ruling out the possibility of first seeing a bit of a wobble before getting another move to the upside, because we do have to consider this descending channel that Bitcoin has been in for over 6 months at this point. And right now we are at the top of this descending channel into this level of resistance, where previously we have been rejected many times. So I would say that right now, even though yes, I'm still bullish and I have been bullish since about 54K for the Bitcoin price, I would say right now is a very important time to pay attention and do not get your eyes off the charts, because seeing a reversal here is what we have seen many times before in the recent price action over the last couple months. Either way, I am still cautiously optimistic here. And if I see more warning signals in the charts, then I will let you know. One thing I saw here earlier today in the charts is actually this bearish divergence on the 4-hour time frame. And this is a new bearish divergence here in the charts that would confirm if we get a 4-hour candle close in the red here without the RSI first making a new high in the Bitcoin price. Typically with a bearish divergence, you will either see some choppy sideways price action or some bearish momentum in the short term here. And I know that I've been talking about some warning signals in the charts here over the last couple of days, but I do think that kind of the point of this channel is to point out the objective technical analysis and share that with you, and you can do with that information what you like. Obviously, we are still in an uptrend here, and so long as there isn't a clear reversal signal, like for example breaking below these lows here, I don't really see a point to be bearish at this time. However, I do have to show you these warning signals just in case this actually turns out to be the actual reversal in the charts here. Now, obviously, at this point, you know what invalidation for a bearish divergence means. So you get either a move to the upside above this trend line here in the price action, or you get invalidation by the RSI basically moving above this trend line here. Although do keep in mind that you can basically keep drawing these new bearish divergence here over and over again until we actually make a higher high in the RSI on this 4-hour time frame here. So that is just something to keep in mind. Now, with regards to the support and resistance levels in the short term here, we are now trading above this 1 level on the Fibonacci levels and currently are basically trading right on top of that 1 level. So this is something to look out for in the charts in terms of a potential flipping it into support or actually getting a move down lower and getting an actual rejection from this level. And if we take a look at these different Fibonacci levels here, again on that 4-hour time frame, you can see that basically this looks like a rejection from this 0.786 Fibonacci level, sitting at 65.5K, roughly speaking. Now, if this actually turns out to be the rejection, then you could look for some support, for example, down to this 62K level, basically in this Fibonacci golden pocket sitting between 62K and 62.7K for the Bitcoin price, because especially after this price action here over the last week or so, this should act as a strong level of support. And therefore, as I have been saying for a long time now, if we lose this as a level of support, then I think we're going lower after that. But so long as that doesn't happen, then we can just assume that we are going to keep seeing higher price action for Bitcoin. Next, taking a look at the Bitcoin liquidation heat map, first of all, on this 1 month time frame, where right now we have actually taken out a big level of liquidity to the upside, sitting at about 65.4K. Next, taking a look at the 6-month Bitcoin liquidation heat map, where most of the liquidity is in fact to the upside, sitting at $72,000 for the Bitcoin price, with about $3.4 billion worth of short liquidations that will happen if the Bitcoin price reaches this level. Now, if you have been a long-time follower of my channel, you know that I've been talking about this 70K level of liquidity for quite a long time. And my base case the entire time that we were in this consolidation here for the past months has been that we are going to keep chopping this range. And so long as we do not break below the bottom of the range here, my base case is that at some point we are going to see a breakout to the upside above this descending channel and sweep all of this liquidity here. So now this might actually be the breakout, but even if it turns out not to be the breakout and we just reverse back down, the base case will remain the same unless we actually invalidate it by trading below the descending channel here. Lastly, taking a look at the Bitcoin ETF flow tables. Yesterday, we saw another net inflow of about $100 million into these Bitcoin ETFs. So as I have been saying for over 2 weeks at this point, so long as we keep seeing hundreds of millions of dollars worth of Bitcoin being bought every single weekday, likely this is going to have an upwards pressuring effect on the Bitcoin price, which is exactly what we have seen so far. Although I do think we should be on the lookout for the Bitcoin ETFs flipping bearish here, although for now that simply isn't the case. So we have to assume that this is going to continue having an upwards pressuring effect on the Bitcoin price, so long as we keep seeing these inflows. Either way, this has been today's market update. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel with notifications on so you don't miss any of these updates here, especially during a time like this where we are at the top of the descending channel. It is important to pay attention. Regardless, if you do end up subscribing with notifications or not, thank you for watching once again, and I will see you tomorrow in the next one.